This is it. This is what we've been waiting for. The season is nearly upon us, and therefore it is time for that particular moment. We are going to delve deep into the Premier League and come up with our predicted leagues. This is where we could end up looking incredibly foolish. I'm so excited. And of course, joining me is none other than the wonderful Ade Oladipo. Here he is. Feeling good, Ad?
Yeah, I am feeling very confident about my 1 to 20. Bear in mind, I remember seeing yours from last season and it was horrendous. So no matter how bad mine gets, it will never be as bad as yours.
There were some errors, but there was an awful lot that I got right. People like to hone in on the errors. Now, you've got to remember, 2 years ago, who predicted Sheffield United to be relegated? Unagi. Only me. Literally only me. When I said Sheffield United, remember, they nearly got into the Champions League at one point. I said Sheffield United would be relegated that year. Literally nobody had any empathy with me. I was being called all sorts. I was being put in a straitjacket, in a padded cell. And yet, where is Sheffield United?
Championship.
There we go.
Well done, son. Well done. Congratulations to you if that's what you're waiting for. A pat on the back. And
Thank you.
No
Thank
problem.
you.
I'll give you a pat on the back. My sidekick.
I've given this. There it is. There it is. I must remind everybody, by the way, Addy is a dear friend and has some fantastic content on his own YouTube channel. So please make sure that you subscribe to his channel. The link to his channel is in the description below. So make sure that you subscribe to his channel. I will be on there fairly soon. I'm awaiting the invite. Still haven't got it, but hopefully I'll be on there very soon.
It's coming. Your boxing knowledge is going through the roof recently. And I like every single day you like try and bring out a boxing thing to me.
Just to prove
that you're getting there. So you're not a casual, you're going above that. You're coming on soon, son.
I've given this list, by the way, this Premier League table, I've honestly given it the due diligence that it deserves. I've agonised over every single position. I've really thought about it, and crucially, it's important that you know this, but it's also important that you know this. I have suspended all loyalty. I've suspended all tribalism. I've suspended all partisan approach to football. I am only looking at it through the lens of honesty.
I will have to say, Rory only thought there were 19 teams at one stage in the Premier League, so he's lying. It was like, wait a minute, I'm missing a team, Ade. One second, help me with this, Ade. I'm missing a team.
It was like that episode of Friends. Have you seen the episode of Friends where Ross is trying to name the 50 states and he just couldn't get the last state? I just couldn't. Who was it? Do you remember?
I think it was Brighton.
Brighton. I just couldn't think of it. I was going through. I was doing it geographically. I was like, right, start in the northeast, work all the way down, get over to the northwest, right, come into the Midlands. Just complete.
It's interesting you did it that way. I did my first 9. Because I think it probably will be that.
I think for the first...
then I've done the bottom teams.
Yeah, exactly.
And Brighton, and I can understand why you forgot them, because they're going to, we're not going to give you too much hints. You'll know where Brighton is in both of our lists in a minute. But they're just there.
Yeah.
Because Brighton aren't going to get ready, they're not going to win anything. So that's why.
Yeah, I think that's true. We should crack on with our Premier League tables.
I think we should.
I think the obvious place to start is relegation.
Oh, okay. I like that you've gone that way.
We should start with relegation. I think there are a couple of sides that we can discuss going down, but I think there is one team that is gone. And we should just put that as, we don't need to agonise over every club.
No.
So I think without, let's see if you're in complete agreement. And if you are, if we have the same bottom team, because I don't know Addy's list yet and he doesn't know mine, if I have agreed with you on the bottom side, I think we should just put them down.
Move on.
Yes.
Move on. Agreed.
I believe that Bournemouth will prop up the Premier League table next season.
I concur.
They will, won't they?
Bournemouth are going to get relegated. They've signed no one apart from a couple of free transfers. And that's not just an indication of you're not going to survive. But their team is a championship team coming into the Premier League. And as much as I like Kiefer Moore and so on and so forth, Todd Cantwell, it's not good enough for the Premier League.
Is there anything to be said? Look, I do completely agree, but I'm just going to play devil's advocate here. Is there anything to be said for their model? What they've done is they've bought a team in the January and the previous summer. They've bought a team that they think is good enough, not only to get them back into the Premier League, but to maintain their Premier League status. It's a different model. Most clubs, they put together a team that is good enough to get them out of that division, and then they put together another team almost, or certainly an improvement on that. What Bournemouth have done is very interesting and different. They put together a team that they think is capable of doing both. Find you a guy that can do both. That's what they've done, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what they've tried to do.
That's what they've done. And
so far, so good.
So far, so good.
It's the championship. Yeah. But we know you can be a superstar in the championship. Timi Pukki is one who scored 20, 30 goals. Pookie will score 20, 30 goals for Norwich in the Championship and they'll be promoted. Come to the Premier League, he'll get you 5.
Yeah.
So they've got good Championship players, but I think the Premier League is a beast amongst beasts, right?
Parker? Fancy him?
Not really. Decent. Decent. I mean, look, this is no disrespect to Bournemouth what we're doing here. The Premier League is just full of special teams that spend hundreds of millions and they've come up and spent not a penny. And I think to compete in this Premier League, you need to make a couple of big signings. If not, just to push the players that you've already got in there so they work that bit extra harder knowing there's competition coming in.
That I agree with.
Yeah.
Rejuvenation. Even if it's not improvement. Even if it's not definitely better than what you already have. Sometimes just bringing in a new player,
new face,
can give fresh ideas. It can do things that the players there can't do. It can invigorate certain players to elevate their performances, and I agree. So Bournemouth.
And sometimes you need a special player to get you out of the mire when everyone else is crap around them. You know, Dimitri Payet when he was at West Ham, Carlos Tevez even when he was at West Ham.
Jesse Lingard when he was at West Ham. Not that everyone else was bad,
but you know you need that special player. They don't have one, so Bournemouth are gone.
Okay, 19th. I've got a left field choice for 19th. People aren't going to like it.
Interesting.
I've gone for Leeds United. I think Leeds are going down.
Okay, I will say this. Leeds are on my list, but they're down at 18th.
So you think Leeds go
I think
down?
Leeds have gone.
Do you know what's amazing then? We have our bottom 3 won't look like anyone else's.
I think a lot of people have Leeds in their bottom 3.
Do you?
Yeah, I think they were crap last season, and they've lost Rafinha and Calvin Phillips, who are easily their best players, number 1 and 2 by a country mile. No disrespect for the Luke Aylings and the Lee Coopers.
They brought in
a couple of unknown Americans.
Yeah, I think they're going to go. I don't rate their manager. I don't rate their manager at all. I get so much stick from Leeds fans for saying this. But do you agree with me with this principle? Is there any semblance of truth in this principle? Whether you're a good manager or a bad manager, it's irrelevant. Sometimes the best manager in the world just doesn't fit in a particular club, and therefore, it's almost irrelevant. I don't happen to rate Marsh, but it's almost irrelevant because I don't think he fits Leeds United.
Yeah,
everything
agreed.
that Leeds are, everything that Leeds represents, you know, that moniker of dirty Leeds, the way that their fans see the world. And Jesse Marsh is giving out quotes of Mother Teresa.
Maybe he has tried to change and remove that kind of moniker.
But it's who they are. They should be proud of that. You know, they have more bookings. I think they hit over 100 bookings last year.
And that's what Leeds is.
Exactly.
And maybe that's not what Jesse Marsh is.
And the intensity of Ellen Road and the aggression of Ellen Road. Like, the reason that I have such a rivalry with Leeds and the reason that Leeds United matter to me is because I'm a Chelsea fan and there is a rivalry and they do matter and they are a significant club and the Premier League is a better place for having them in it. But they should embrace that.
I'll be honest with you though, regardless of whether it's Jesse Marsh or Bielsa coming back to Leeds United, not
just
for
the
me.
Players.
Yeah, even Bielsa, you know, he's godlike over there, isn't he? I mean, everyone loves Bielsa. He walks on water. He had that team. I know they were injured at times, but he had Rafinha, he had Calvin Phillips, Brentford. They still fell off a cliff. So even with Bielsa there, they were going to go down in my eyes. They've changed it. Jesse Marsh came in, done okay in the first couple of games. Not for me. Leeds are gone. I'm inclined to agree.
Who finishes 8th? No, so you've got Leeds at 18th.
Yeah.
Okay, so who was your 19th?
Fulham.
Okay.
Fulham.
This is weird.
Fulham are going to go down. Who you got?
I haven't got them.
Oh, okay. I thought that was really good. I've got love at first sight there.
I haven't got Fulham to go down. I think Fulham survive,
really?
Which I know is weird.
Yeah,
but I do have a West London. I do have a West London club.
Silva in there.
Not.
Oh, okay.
I have the other West London club.
Oh, wow.
I do have a West London.
Further west. Begins with a B. Okay. I think we've seen Marco Silva at Watford, at Everton, gone to the Championship, which might be his level. Everyone's saying he's a great manager. Fulham are a yo-yo club who've spent a bit of money in this transfer window, but have lost a couple of good players as well. Fabio Carvalho being one of them that's gone to Liverpool. It's all about Mitrovic for me. If he can get double figures, 15 maybe, then yes. I don't think he can. That's my thing. Yeah. I don't think he's good enough to do it in the Prem.
And I've based it on exactly the same criteria,
and
I think he can. I think 15 might be a bit generous but I think he can score enough to keep them up, simply because I think that scoring in the Championship isn't necessarily an indicator of whether you can score in the Premier League, generally. But when you're scoring that amount, like he's not just top scorer in the Championship.
No, he's levels above that.
He's levels. He is scoring. It was a bit like, do you know what it reminded me of a bit? People used to be quite snide about scoring goals in the Scottish League. And I remember sort of once when I was young, I remember talking to my mate about Henrik Larsson, and my mate kind of being a bit sneery, going, "Well, anyone score goals up there." And I remember saying to him, "No, mate, not that amount. Like, it's one thing finishing top goal scorer and, you know, scoring 2 more than Chris Boyd or whatever, but it's a completely different thing.
Yeah, he just went crazy.
Scoring 16 more than...
He went Messi-like in the Championship.
He went Messi-like.
2 and 3 goals. It reminds me a bit of, and this is one for our older viewers, Steve Bull.
Steve Bull, all the time, yeah.
And
he got the Steve Bull standard following you, innit?
Yeah, he got caught up for England for scoring in the Championship.
Yeah.
It's rare, but it happens. And maybe Mitrovic can do that. So who have you gone?
Brentford. I think
Eriksen,
so. My bottom 3 shape up exactly like this: Brentford, Leeds, Bournemouth.
Okay.
What's yours?
Leeds, Fulham, Bournemouth.
Okay, so there's some overlap.
Yeah.
There's some overlap. Do you agree with me, Brentford to go? Do you see where I'm coming from? Do you see why I think that?
Second season syndrome.
Exactly.
Eriksen gone.
Yeah.
How do you replace that? You can't afford to.
Well, they would have gone
it.
down without him last year.
Yeah, 100%.
They would have gone down without him.
And Ivan Toney was struggling to actually be the Ivan Toney from the Championship until Eriksen came.
Correct.
With that kind of pass, that vision.
And they're a Championship at best club. They're not a Premier. You know, like sometimes you are what you are.
Yeah.
And they've had a flirtation with it. They've done all right, but they're not a Premier League club.
I just think that Fulham, Leeds, and Bournemouth are worse than them.
Okay.
It's going to be close.
So who survives, in your opinion, by the skin of their teeth?
Everton and Forest. Skin. And
Can I just tell everybody,
when you say
by the way?
Rizzler paper?
Yeah.
I don't know what's thinner than a Rizzler paper, because you always say that. What's thinner than that?
Nothing.
Air.
That's it.
Yeah,
That's it.
air.
See-through paper that burns. Yeah.
That's Forest and Everton for me.
Okay. I need to let everybody know, at the end of this video, don't scroll. At the end of this video, there are some beautiful images with our full table on it.
Yeah.
So we're going to discuss it now, but you will see a collated table. So just be aware that that's at the end. So you think Everton survived just by the skin of their teeth?
Just by almost like last season. I think Everton will be like last season for me.
Is Frank Lampard manager at the end of the season?
No chance.
Really?
No chance. He's gone.
Really?
Yeah.
So you think they get sacked with Lampard basically, but they rectify it along the way?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I wouldn't be shocked if it's not too dissimilar to Lampard replacing Benitez, and then Lampard getting a couple of results and just does it. I think not that he will give up or quit, but it'll almost be like, you're giving me no money to spend.
He definitely won't do that.
He won't do that, but you're giving me no money to spend. What am I supposed to do with this? I can't do magic tricks here. You know what I mean? Our best player right now is Dominic Calvert-Lewin, and you're hoping that somehow Anthony Gordon's going to come and do something, and he's only a kid. You're giving me nothing to work with. You've let our best player go over Richarlison, and you haven't given me any money to replace him. What am I supposed to do?
So you think that they're going to finish that low?
I think they're going to finish that low.
I can't believe you think they're going to be that low. So that means you think Forest finish ahead of Everton?
No, so I've gone Everton, Forest, Leeds, Fulham, Bournemouth. So I think Everton and Forest are battling it down there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you know who I've got? Just surviving. And it's weird because I rate their manager. I think they're really good.
Oh. Can I say it then?
Go on.
Wolves.
Yeah. Yeah. I think they're really... Look, it's just dried up. Where's the money?
It's just
Where's the money?
No.
Who's got the money? Do you remember when they were linked? They had Fosun, that Chinese company with all the money in the world, and George Mendes and the Portugal kit.
Mate, they bought Fabio Silva for 37 million or something. For an 18-year-old.
Have they spent any money since then?
No. They've tried to get rid of players to make money. Tried to get rid of Adama Traore to Tottenham to bring in some money. Hasn't happened.
I think they survive because I rate Bruno Lage so highly. I think he's really good.
Yeah.
I just think that he's at the wrong club. I like Wolves. I genuinely do. I just think that this squad is not really good enough. And if they are still, the transfer window's open. If Manchester United end up not signing De Jong, you know what they're going to do?
Neves.
Yeah.
If they can keep Neves, obviously they've got Moutinho, Adama Traore.
He's 40.
Think of Connor Cody.
40.
I know, but he just doesn't run, does he?
He's wicked, but he's 40.
Pedro Neto, Pedence.
There are some really good players.
There's an 11 there. I can think in my head, I can put an 11 together, and I think that 11 will be enough.
Right.
They've got a better 11 for me than Everton.
I think they've got a really talented squad.
And they've got a better manager than most.
They've got a better manager than loads of clubs.
That's what might save them. They've got a better manager than anyone down the bottom there.
Right. Above Wolves, for me, comes... So we are now in 15th.
Okay. We'll put the table at the end anyway. Yeah.
I'm looking at Nottingham Forest.
Okay.
For me, this little area, let's do a little selection here, right? For me, above Wolves, so Wolves just survive, and it then goes Forest, Fulham, Everton, Southampton.
Okay, that's interesting. I've got Forest, Everton, Brentford, Southampton.
Very similar.
So
Great
it's quite
minds.
similar.
Great
I'm telling you,
minds.
that's why we smashed the shows together.
There we go. So I think Everton are actually going to finish just shy, south of mid-table, but they're not going to. They're not going to be the last club standing. They're not going to be down there with relegation. I think they're going to be above an awful lot of clubs. I think they will finish above Fulham. I think they will finish above Forest. They'll finish above Wolves, Brentford, Leeds, and Bournemouth.
I think you're being ridiculously generous for someone team that's lost their best player.
Mm-hmm.
Dominic Calvert-Lewin is falling off a cliff. So that means you're basically telling me their match winners are going to be Damari Gray, Iwobi, Dele Alli,
That's the player.
and Andros Townsend. Is he still at the club? I don't even know if he's left on a free transfer.
No,
That's it.
it's
What's the player?
No, it's Ali.
What, the one that hasn't delivered for 5 years or whatever it's been? You think he's going to turn up?
Yeah.
When does a player in the history of football, come on, let's play this game. When does a player ever be like Dele Alli, who was, compared to Frank Lampard and Steven Gerrard, fall off a cliff for so long, then all of a sudden become Gerrard and Lampard again? When has that ever happened in football?
No,
Can't name me
not
one.
to the level that you're suggesting.
Yeah.
I don't think he'll ever be compared to. I don't think he ever should have been
Yeah,
compared.
but in order to keep them up, he's got to be the Richarlison last season.
No,
so he's got to get
I think
goals and assists.
I think that he will be. I think he'll be a good player for them. I think he'll score some big goals for them, Ali. I don't know why I think this, but I just feel like for Dele Alli, the talent was always there. He had a great eye for a goal. He had a great eye for arriving in the box late. And those late headers, he'd arrive in the box, late header. He was exceptional at it. Playing behind Harry Kane. What I'm seeing is Frank Lampard nurturing that. Dele Alli being aware that this is his last chance. Like, this is... Basically, everybody's written Dele Alli off. Everybody listening to this now, by the way, 99% of them agree with you. Of course you don't back Ali to keep a club up. Of course you don't. Whereas I just think, under Lampard, knowing that it's his last chance at a proper club, knowing that, and crucially, his best form was when playing behind Harry Kane. I'm not comparing Calvert-Lewin to Kane in terms of quality, but they're comparable in terms of football, of the way they play the game, the way they see the game, the way they bring others into play. The intent is not to the same level, but the intention is the same. I think Dele Alli could benefit from that. It's a long shot. It's a huge long shot. But Everton are a long shot now. It's effectively Calvert-Lewin, Gordon, Ali,
And Damari Gray.
and potentially Gray. And then it's what they can do at the back. Then it's Tarkowski needs to have the season of his life. Yerry Mina needs to keep fit. Jordan Pickford needs to demonstrate the same form that he finished last season with. And Frank Lampard needs to get it right. All of those things can happen, though. They're not wild. Like,
No.
James Tarkowski will have a good season because he always has a good season. Jordan Pickford does turn it on to the level that is required at Everton. I think they're going to be okay. Yeah. And they are also.
You got to understand
Everton.
the players that you're hoping, or not hoping, you're not an Everton fan, but in this debate,
I don't want Everton to go down.
No,
so I'm
right.
hoping in as
I
much
want
as
big
that.
clubs to stay in the Premier League. That's just the idea of it. I want more competition. Even as a Liverpool fan, I like that derby. But the players that we're hoping step up for Everton, one is from a relegated Burnley, and the other was a guy that got shifted out of Tottenham because he's done.
Yeah.
So we're hoping somehow that these two players turn into what I do not know.
Yeah.
And they're now, Everton's relying solely on them. Obviously, other pieces around them. But look, Everton, the funny things you just mentioned in those names, Keane, Gordon, Yeremina, they've got a good 11. Alan, Doucouré in the midfield. Something's gone wrong.
A big issue is, I think it comes down to these two questions. Can Calvert-Lewin score double digits?
Don't know.
That's going to be a big
I don't
indicator.
know if Dominic Calvert-Lewin was just, and we've seen it in the Premier League, we've watched football long enough, you guys have, they blow hot for a couple of seasons, and we think they're going to be something, and then it doesn't. And that's what separates the really good players from the world-class. Consistency. Can you do it for 6 or 7 seasons?
Do you know
maybe he's just not that guy.
I completely agree with that. Do you know what I said fairly recently? And maybe I was being a bit harsh, but I was talking about Edouard Mendy. Like, his form has been poor for Chelsea lately. For a long time, it's been poor. And I kind of asked this question, and it was probably harsh on Mendy, but I think it is a question that we can explore. Is it possible to be... You know how you can be a really good footballer out of form? So Thierry Henry had a dry spell. Alan Shearer had a dry spell. Good footballers can be out of form. Is it possible to be a bad footballer in form? Is it possible to be not that good, but just hit a vein of form.
Yeah.
And I wonder if Dominic Calvert-Lewin did that. I don't think so. I think that he's going to carry Everton effectively this season. But what you're saying is he that? Is he a fairly average player who hit a purple patch?
Yeah, and I think that might be the reason he's still at the club. Honestly, if everyone thought he was going to be that we're talking about, I think a lot of bids would have come in for him. Like West Ham have just signed a kid from Sassuolo for 35 million. That should be Dominic Calvert-Lewin. And then this isn't disrespecting Everton because they're both big clubs. But that's there. West Ham should have said, here, David Moyes as well, the Everton connection. Bang, there you go, 35 million, give us Dominic Calvert-Lewin.
Yeah, they didn't want him.
They didn't want him. Arsenal with Jesus, for a long time, it was Dominic Calvert-Lewin they were linked with. Didn't want him, didn't fancy him. Like, no, we're not quite sure. Is this, maybe he's just blowing cold forever now.
But that's why it's Frank Lampard's responsibility. So Frank Lampard, so the fact that he was ever linked with West Ham, the fact that he was ever linked with Arsenal, the fact that he was ever scoring goals for England, the fact that he was ever genuinely seen by some to be the answer to Harry Kane's drought. You remember when Harry Kane wasn't scoring for England in the Euros? People saying Calvert-Lewin starts. So the fact that all of those things were a genuine possibility means that there must be something there, a semblance of a player that has the ability to attract the eye. Arsenal, I'm not a very good footballer. Arsenal never wanted to sign me. Arsenal did genuinely want to sign Calvert-Lewin.
That's the problem, though. You know what they've got at that club? Too many question marks. Too many of those. Too many Ali you mentioned like that. Dominic Calvert-Lewin, you said that. Demarai Gray was hot,
Gray's that,
and then he fell cold. So there's too many. Frank's got too many of. Yeah, but you know what? You remember what he did last.
If Frank gets some playing, how many times can you say that about? You can say that about half a dozen of their players. If
half
Frank,
a dozen,
and then it's a question of Frank's ability, and he probably.
It's a big.
But
ask.
neither of us think they go down.
No. So let's move on. We're moving.
Right, let's move on. We can rocket through these now. Well, now we are mid-table. For me, here it goes: Southampton, Leicester, Brighton, Palace.
Did you go down or up?
I went from the bottom to the top.
Okay, that's very
Started
interesting.
at the bottom, now we're here.
All right, because I've got Villa, Wolves, Brighton, Palace.
Okay, so we're in agreement. I've got Villa quite high in the table.
Have you?
Well, a couple more spaces up. After Palace, let's just skirt over this, right? Because now we're going to get into the business part of it. Now we are going to go. What number are we up to here? Where are you up to?
I am 1, 2, 3, ninth.
Ninth. Okay, so who have you got finishing ninth?
Leicester.
I've got Newcastle.
Interesting.
I've got Newcastle. Maybe because I'm being a bit edgy.
Generous for Newcastle.
Were you?
Yeah, like I've got them finishing 8th, and in my head I was thinking, I know Sven Botman came in, everyone was talking about that, but I thought they were going to go a bit more mental in the transfer window, and it hasn't happened. But the way they finished the season last season, I was like, geez, Newcastle look like they starting to do something. And not just that, but the players that were there stepped up because of the pressure. Callum Wilson came back from injury, and all of a sudden, remember he destroyed Arsenal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And all of a sudden you're thinking, so I've got Newcastle finishing just above Leicester, but that could be interchangeable between those two for me. I've got those two very, very close.
So
Palace,
I've got Leicester much lower than you then. Yeah. So I've got Leicester below Palace and Brighton. Jeez. Above Southampton, below Palace and Brighton. I think they're in a bad way, Leicester. Maybe we should just touch on this a bit.
Do you know what the thing is with Leicester, yeah? Again, almost a bit like Bournemouth was speaking about. Leicester have made no signings. But, and this is the thing that people at home need to listen about this one. You look at Leicester's 11. I'm not saying, in fact, 1 to 14. Leicester still have Harvey Barnes, fantastic. Maddison on his day. Not even on his day.
They've just lost Kasper Schmeichel.
They've just lost Kasper Schmeichel indeed, but you've still got Ndidi, you've still got Tielemans. We're talking good players.
12th.
You've still got Fofana at the back as well. You've still got Vardy who can score. Iheanacho, Patson Daka.
All of that is true, but I've got them finishing 12th, and then the teams that I've got above them immediately are Brighton, Palace, Newcastle.
1 second. Brighton have just lost Basuma and Cucurella. No chance, matey. Brighton have just lost their best player, best two by a country mile. Well, not yet Cucurella, but it's going to happen to Man City. And Basuma has just gone. Change your list.
I just don't think. Do you know what it comes down to as well? I don't think Brendan Rodgers is going to be there for that long. I think the fact that Kasper Schmeichel, how long has Kasper Schmeichel been there? It's over a decade.
Must have been, yeah.
The fact that he has decided to jump ship now. Yeah.
I think he was, wasn't he?
The fact that he's decided to jump ship, and he is Leicester, isn't he? He is the embodiment of that club. You know how it used to be like Morgan and Huth for a bit? It's Kasper Schmeichel now. Him, Vardy, they are Leicester.
Those two, yeah.
And he's gone. And that to me is worrying. I think Rodgers is limited, average, and will go. And I just think that they're all a bit over the place. And therefore, I've gone for Brighton to finish above them, but not too much in it. So for me, it then goes up. It goes Leicester, Brighton, Palace, Newcastle.
Okay, so you got Newcastle in 8th.
Yes.
Or 7th, 8th.
8th.
2, 3, 4. Okay, cool. Let's get into the top 7 then. Let's go.
I've got them 9th, Newcastle. Forgive me.
So who have you got 8th?
Villa.
Oh yeah, okay. You got that's high.
It's high. No, I did it.
That's really.
I made a choice of putting Villa high.
I see. With my Liverpool cap removed, Steven Gerrard didn't have a good end to the season. I'll tell you now, pressure's on. They spent a lot of money. I think that's really generous for Villa. I think they've, again, good team. Ollie Watkins up front. Danny Ings, Coutinho looks like he might be settled now.
Ambitious club.
Yeah.
Owners, Egyptian owners, lots of money. One of the richest families in Egypt, I think. Backing him, really backing him. Gerrard, I rate. I know that the jury's out, but I don't know why. I liked what he did at Rangers. I know Rangers have carried on being successful in Europe, but I think Gerrard will be good. I'm never prepared to write. Certain players, I just don't write them off. Certain people, I don't write them off. And I think Gerrard will be a good manager. They're also a club that I kind of... there's prestige to Aston Villa.
Love
the whole end and the proper club. So maybe I am being a little bit generous, but I've decided that Villa are going to have a good season and are going to finish above Newcastle in 8th, just below West Ham in 7th.
I do think that's interesting. That's very interesting. I've got United in 7th. I've got United in 7th. You know what? You don't fool me in pre-season, son. Yeah, don't fool me. I've been watching this game for a long time. Yeah, don't fool me. This is a team that's lost Paul Pogba. I don't know if Ronaldo's going to start, and everyone's getting excited about Martial. I'm sorry. I still need to see more. Harry Maguire looks like he probably will start the season with Varane. I think Martinez will probably, come in as there. He'll fight them for that position. Nah.
You're not having it. I see. I've got Manchester United 6th.
Okay, only
but
one
with regard to West Ham, 7th, I've put them.
I've got them 6, yeah.
7th, though, is a huge compliment. I don't want that to be seen as a detrimental thing. I just think that the clubs above them have been doing it for so long and are so good and so well.
Where did they finish last season? I think 7th. I think they finished 7th.
Finished 7th.
Finished 6th, yeah.
But consistency, if they maintain 7th, that is progress because they've done it twice. You do it again, you become part of the establishment. And I think that West Ham are amazing. I honestly do. I am full of rivalry with West Ham. I don't like to see their success. I was delighted when they got knocked out of the European competition last year. I was worried that they were going to win it, but they need to be taken seriously. I think David Moyes has done an amazing job there. The way that the club has been run, they finally backed him. They've brought him a centre forward. If he does that again and ends up in 7th again, that is a massive, massive season for them. Let's see if they can go again in Europe.
The only reason I've got them above United is there's been no upheaval. It's a consistent squad. Obviously, there's a lot of talk about Declan Rice leaving. Obviously, he's not. They've added a defender in. I can't remember his name. Apologies. To go what they got at the back end. I think Kurt Zuma's fantastic. Brings that experience. And they've now got a striker who, let's hope, but they've still got Jared Bowen on there, Ben Rama on there as well. Souček's
they need a striker.
There.
They've got terrible. They've got a Chelsea sort of curse, haven't they?
They've got a Chelsea curse where they clearly, worse than Chelsea, by the way, in terms of strikers for them. They don't spend the kind of money Chelsea do, so it doesn't get highlighted. But considering what they did last season without a recognised number 9, because Antonio's not that, they've got a number 9 in now. And even if he can get a handful of goals to help Antonio, they're going to benefit from it. So I've got them with that experience of playing European football. So they've done it now. Thursday, Monday, they've done it. They're used to it. 6 for me.
6. I've got them 7th. Okay, now let's get into the top. So you've got them 6th.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've got Manchester United 6th.
Right, now let's get into the top 5, the big boys.
This is it then. So basically, this is a massive part of the video because the question here is who misses out on top 4?
Yeah.
What club just miss out on top 4? Who have you got?
By a bloody Rizzler paper. Arsenal.
Yes.
Look at you. I was going to say Chelsea. Look at you.
I did think you were going to say Chelsea.
I
was convinced you were going to say Chelsea.
I was thinking about it, trust me. I was going to change it during this conversation. Arsenal. Not because of anything negative. I think Arsenal's window has been fantastic. I think getting Zinchenko in, I think Saliba coming back to the club, Jesus we know is going to be fantastic for them. I just look at the other teams and I feel Chelsea are strong. I'm not having about this upheaval. Chelsea are strong. We'll always put out a good 11, and Spurs are a good team now as well. So it's going to be it could be as close as it was last season. I think Arsenal will just miss out, but I don't think it means Arteta's had a bad season. I think the others have just had a very good season.
Do you think this is a fair statement? One way or the other, by hook or by crook, there are two routes into the European Cup. Arsenal need to be in the European Cup next season. They either need to make top four or they need to win the Europa League. They need to be in the Europeans Premier competition next season, or I'm right. I'm prepared to make a deal with anybody who gets particularly annoyed about the way I speak about Arsenal, the way I speak about Arteta. I'm prepared to make a deal with anybody.
Go on.
I will hold my hands up and say I got it wrong if Arsenal are playing Champions League football next season.
Yeah.
If Arsenal make the European Cup via this season, I will hold my hands up and I will say they were correct to persevere with Arteta. They were correct to trust the process. They were correct to believe in the project, and I got it wrong.
What if they make fifth, hear me out, but just Spurs and Chelsea, I don't know actually where you're going to have Spurs in your list, but Spurs and Chelsea just have incredible seasons. And it's close. So Arsenal improve on 10 points on what they did this season or last season, but Spurs and Chelsea just have seasons where, where teams are hitting 75 points and finishing fourth.
No, it's not good enough.
Oh, wow.
No, it's not good enough because I think, look, and I honestly think that if you think about the transfer window that they had last year, spent a lot of money, spent more money this year, very good window, arguably won the window. They have consistently, under Arteta, spent big money.
Yeah.
They have backed him. He's been there for ages. In the modern era of football, Arteta has been that manager for ages. People don't get that long. He's been there for a very long time. He put down his...
Dude, he's battling with four behemoth managers.
Yeah, but he's spending the money to
battle. I agree, but they're spending money as well. He's battling with Thomas Tuchel, European Cup winner. Jurgen Klopp, European Cup winner. Pep Guardiola, European Cup winner. And the great Antonio Conte. This is what he's having to go against.
The way Arsenal fans talk about him is he's completely capable of doing that.
We know he's not, though.
No, but this is what I'm saying. I think now that he's had time to put his project on, crucially for his system, it's so reliant on having four strikers, four players that score the goals, four players that can interchange, four lively, effervescent, full of energy, life and buzz strikers. That's what he's after, right? Running the channels, interchanging, being electric. You can't do that with Lacazette. You couldn't really do it with Aubameyang. Now he's got it. Yeah. Now he's got everything he needs. He's been provided with all of the tools that he needs.
I wouldn't be shocked, by the way. I'm saying Arsenal are going to finish fifth. I wouldn't be shocked if they finish third.
No, I wouldn't.
I'm telling you now.
Look, this is what I'm saying.
More.
This is what I'm saying. I will definitely eat humble pie. I'm prepared to do a dare, whatever, right?
We'll get Robbie Lyle in there.
That can happen. I'm up for it. But I need it to be the same the other way. So I think that Arsenal, through hook or by crook, need to be in the European Cup at the end of next season. If they win a European trophy and make it into Europe, bearing in mind their pitiful track record in Europe, Arteta's the dude. If they finish third, fourth, second, third, whatever, Arteta's the dude.
Fifth in the FA Cup? Fifth in the FA Cup.
Needs to be...
Fifth and the FA Cup.
No, that's not the deal. That's not the deal because that isn't. He's won the FA Cup. He's won the FA Cup. Yeah. I just don't think that's.
See the problem with you now is you've turned. What
do you mean?
I thought it was all about a trophy for you. No, Champions League is not. Trophies are about success. If Arsenal win a trophy, bear in mind their bitter rivals Spurs haven't won one since I've been born. Yeah. Like, surely it's about trophies. I'm telling you now, FA Cup and fifth, and you still don't think that's enough.
Because that's not how the world judges success. Like me as a one individual, that's fine. If you were to say to me, Chelsea next season can finish fourth and win nothing, or finish fifth and win the FA Cup, I will always take the FA Cup. But that isn't how people judge success anymore. That isn't how people define success. I'm just one guy. But the world tells you top four is more important than the FA Cup. I disagree, but that's just my personal opinion. I'm trying to be as this isn't about me and my perceptions of football.
As objective as possible.
Exactly, as objective as possible.
All right, let's go on then. Let's move on.
Okay, so I have Arsenal finishing fifth as well. I'm in agreement. Chelsea fourth.
What?
Chelsea fourth, I've got.
You've got Chelsea finishing below Spurs.
It's not Spurs.
What do you mean?
It's not Tottenham. That's not it.
Oh, you got Chelsea finishing below Conte.
Yeah.
You've got the mighty Chelsea.
You got the mighty Conte.
Finish mighty Tuchel.
He's not as mighty.
He's Champions League winner.
He's not as mighty.
He's not as mighty.
He's not as good
He's
a
not
manager.
as mighty. Okay, but cool. So let me just understand. This is on camera. You have Chelsea finishing below Spurs.
No. I have
Yeah, you can't say
Antonio Conte
finishing above
finishing
Chelsea.
above Chelsea.
Okay.
Antonio Conte is a master. He's a master at work. By the way, we should focus specifically on Chelsea here because
What?
we should
What?
we should focus specifically on Chelsea here because you're making this about Tottenham. You don't know my list, mate.
Wait, go on. 1 second. 1 second. All right, let's speed up the video a bit.
Okay, do you want to hear my? Shall I move up a bit?
Yeah, go up a bit.
Okay, so my Arsenal 5th,
Yeah.
Chelsea 4th,
Mm-hmm.
Liverpool 3rd.
Yeah. Well, you must be drunk. You know,
The
you're
mighty
doing this.
Conte.
1 second. No, 1 second. You're doing this to be controversial. You don't really. You deep down cannot mean and believe that you think a team just because they got rid of Mane, and I know where you're going, are somehow going to drop below Spurs.
I think that we're
It literally is Man City and Liverpool all the way. That's all it is.
I don't think so.
You're crazy.
I don't think
Because
so.
then you can't, you know, you can't then do this mighty Conte thing because we've got the mighty Klopp. It's impossible to do the mighty Conte thing because we've got Klopp. We've got Klopp. We have a better squad.
But there is an
We have a
iteration.
better squad. The squad's been longer together. This is a team that lost 2 games last season. This is a team.
This isn't about Klopp for me. What
What can it be? You can't be doing a Conte thing with Liverpool. You can't be doing the Conte thing with Liverpool.
What I'm doing is evolution with Liverpool. I'm doing evolution.
Go on then. I'll let you go. I'll take the floor.
So the reason why I think Liverpool, when I say drop off, I think they're going to finish 3rd. And the reason that I think that will happen is because I think that this iteration of the Liverpool dynasty that we're in, I think Klopp is a master, like a genuine great of football.
Have you had a look?
But there is.
Have you had a look at that Spurs defence? You know what we're doing. We're getting excited, and rightly so, about what they've got going forward. That free, and I love it. It's good free. I don't genuinely believe that I don't think we're actually looking at that midfield of Spurs. I think when Basuma's coming, everyone's gone crazy. Bentancur and
Bentancur's good.
Bentancur's good. He's very, very good. He's very good. He was Juve sub last season, but I know what you mean. Couldn't get a Juve squad. Come in, he's done okay. And then what? Dyer at the back with Romero. We're getting excited about. We're getting excited about young
system.
Liverpool have got the greatest system. With Trent being able to bomb on.
Okay, right.
Robertson being able to bomb on. Van Dijk, Matip, or Van Dijk, Konate, whatever you want. And then in the midfield, we've got the generals, leaders, captains, Fabinho, Henderson, Thiago, youngsters off the bench of Neeby. Then we've arguably got the best forward in the Premier League. Still on song. Everyone thinks he's going to be off in Salah. And then you've still got Firmino. You've still got Jota. You've got Diaz, who was the best January signing that we've seen in years. And then we've got Darwin Núñez, who could be a Van Nistelrooy.
That's crucial, isn't it? Could be.
No, even let me say something. Even if he's awful, remove him for a second. Get rid of him. Get him out of the squad. I still would start the season comfortably with Diaz, Jota, or Firmino and Salah. Comfortably.
Here's why I think Liverpool are currently in an iteration. I think that they are finding a new rhythm. They have lost Sadio Mane, and
Where did you think Liverpool finished last season? Where did you have Liverpool?
I
If
had
you remember.
Liverpool. I think I said they win the league.
No, you didn't. I work with you. I've been working with you for 2
What
years.
did I say?
You said 3rd. You said
Where did
third.
they finish?
And you said
And where
Liverpool
did they
finished
finish?
second.
Oh,
You said
that's
Liverpool
close.
finished 3rd and it'll be close to Liverpool, Man United. Because you said, obviously, you and Chelsea, so Chelsea, City. And you said, you know what you said to me? I'm not sure about this Liverpool team. Yet Mane looks like he's falling off a bit and Salah can't keep doing it. And what happened?
No, but I didn't expect Sadio...
Keep getting proved wrong. You keep getting proved wrong.
That's not getting proved
Every
wrong.
season.
I said they finished second.
No, you
I
didn't.
said they finished 3rd.
3rd and fighting with United.
I said
for
they
that-
finished
that
3rd.
place.
I said they finished 3rd. They finished 2nd.
Yeah.
That's pretty
A point behind City.
Pretty close. Pretty
Sorry,
close.
I keep interrupting
and
you, I do
I
apologise.
also said Chelsea would win the league because I was blinded by tribalism.
Yeah.
So I said they finished 3rd. I was actually right because Chelsea was set at the top because of tribalism. So I said I got it right. But look, with Liverpool, there will always be, particularly in the way that FSG work, there will always be a season where they stagnate to go again.
Yeah.
It's like a stabilising season where they almost reassess and then launch another bid. That's how they do it. That's how the FSG model works. And I think that this year is a slightly transitional year. I think Liverpool didn't win the league last year, and they are going into this campaign worse than they finished last campaign. Liverpool was stronger last season.
Remember when Liverpool didn't win the league by a point? I don't even remember. When we didn't win the league by a point against City, everyone said, oh, that's it. Liverpool next season got 99.
Yeah, and then the next season they had a reset.
97. No, it wasn't a reset. Virgil van Dijk got injured. Gomez got injured. And Matip.
That's life.
No. 3 centre backs going is not life.
It's
that's
unlucky.
That's not a reset. That's just free win. It's not a reset. Oh, free. Your best free. We had to bring in
Nat Phillips.
We got Ben Davies from Preston.
Yeah,
and we played that kid, that young kid as well.
No,
so
it's a
that would never happen again.
I think this Liverpool team, I think the midfield could have done with reinvigoration.
It has been.
I know
Fabio Carvalho and Harvey Elliott.
No, that's not reinvigoration.
Because they're young. Fabio Carvalho and Harvey Elliott.
No, Harvey Elliott's a bit different.
Yeah.
But you can't put Carvalho on this. It'd be like me telling you Chelsea, Billy Gilmore.
What?
It'd be like me going, Billy Gilmore.
No one thinks of him like that, do they?
No, but I don't think nobody thinks of Carvalho like that.
He's a good player.
Yeah, so is Billy Gilmore. But I'm not building a season around him.
You're shipping him out to Norwich again, probably.
Yeah, probably are, which is wrong. That's why Tuchel's getting on my nerves. But look, with Liverpool, I just think this iteration of Liverpool is going through its period of evolution. I don't think Jordan Henderson could play the amount of football he played last year. He was amazing. He's a wonderful player. He's one of the best captains ever. But I don't think he can play this amount of football again. Yeah. I think that the midfield generally needs a bit more, and it wasn't reinvigorated. Sadio Mane, the moving on of Sadio Mane is just crazy. The geezer is unreal. And people are kind of cool about it. He is absolutely wicked. Deputising as a number 9. He is absolutely phenomenal and so integral to everything that has happened for Liverpool. They're talking about Firmino off to Juve. Nobody seems to care.
No, that's the pause a second. No. The papers are talking about Firmino and we do care. Because he's not going to go anywhere because they're trying to get Timo Werner.
I think he's an amazing player, Firmino. But I just think that this Liverpool team are going to have a brilliant season. I wouldn't be surprised, by the way, just to put this out there, the European Cup final in Istanbul, I think Liverpool could win it. I think Liverpool are sensational. I think Jurgen Klopp is sensational. But the grind and the relentless nature of the Premier League, I think is going to be a touch beyond them this year.
And that's the disrespect that's been shown to Liverpool time and time again. Everyone thinks you can't do it again.
It's not disrespectful.
No, it is. It's not disrespectful. It's a genuine... I know, you're right. It's not disrespectful, but it's a genuine... I can't do that again.
Yeah, but that's what I think.
And I think you've got to understand now, Liverpool are just that team. You know, this is the thing. Even me, it surprises me. But Liverpool... look, we both adjust.
Yeah, I know. What's going on here? Yeah.
You want to go there? I'll go there. I think Liverpool now, you know the way sometimes you have to recondition your mind and brain about where United are?
Yeah.
Like United aren't that team that we grew up watching. They're just not that team anymore. West Ham.
Yeah,
not that team. Yeah, not that team. West Ham, Upton Park, relegation battles. This Liverpool team, this is just it. 95, 96, 97, 99.
This tells you the story.
Liverpool.
I disagree. Because I think that it's unsustainable. I think Liverpool have been amazing. I think they've been perfect. I think the players that have been brought in, Jurgen Klopp, FSG to a degree, they've basically all been perfect. But that can't go on. It can't. It's impossible. Yeah. What is sustainable is Paris Saint-Germain. What is sustainable is Man City. Because it's money and they've got money and therefore sustainability is achievable. I don't think Liverpool can be this. I don't think you can constantly sign. So you sign Sadio Mane, becomes the best player in the world. You sign Virgil van Dijk, becomes the best player in the world. You sign Mohamed Salah, becomes the best player in the world. You sign a keeper, becomes the best keeper in the world. You sign Jordan Henderson, right? It's not sustainable.
Well, we'll keep doing it. It's not like a one-off. It keeps happening.
But this is why I don't think it can go. Because, let's say, I don't know about Nunes, but it can't become the best player in the world.
You might be right. And I'll give you that. You might be right. And I've said already that this can't continue. But it won't drop off to the point where you think Tottenham...
Third, mate. That's not dropping off.
No. It is third. Third behind Chelsea. There's no way on this earth it's dropping off to the point where you thinking Spurs are getting in front of Liverpool.
Spurs are wicked.
Spurs.
Tottenham.
And you know the reason? It's not Spurs and it's not necessarily even Conte. I said this to you the other day. You can't lose 2 games. You can't lose 2. Liverpool lost 2 last season. The season that when we won the title, we lost 3. The season before that, we lost 1. To win the league,
but I don't think either of them.
No, we came second a couple of times.
Yeah, but I don't think you're going to do that this year, and I don't think Tottenham will have to do that.
I can't wait to prove you wrong.
No,
I can't wait to come here.
So if you said Liverpool win the league, is that top of your list?
Might be. Is that where we're going now?
Well, so I've got. Yeah, I've done mine, haven't I? Obviously, Chelsea, by process of elimination.
I've got Spurs, Chelsea, City, Liverpool. That's what I've got. Because I'm just going by what happened when we lost to
Spurs, Chelsea. So do it in Premier League order.
Liverpool
win the league.
City, Chelsea, Spurs.
Okay.
I still think Chelsea are going to come good. I'm sticking up for your team now. I've got to stick up for him, this Chelsea kid. I still think Sterling's going to be really, really good. I think Koulibaly and Thiago at the back are going to be fantastic. The midfield is starting to age a bit, but I still think there's a little bit of life left in that midfield. I think Chelsea got enough, and I think you've got a great manager. I think Chelsea will be okay. I think taking the noise of Lukaku out of the club, which clearly affected just the mood of the club, plus all the stuff about the club, ceasing to exist. That's all parked now. I think you're going to get a striker in. Doesn't have to be Ronaldo. I think you'll get a number 9, and I think Chelsea will be okay.
I think we'll be okay. I think we'll make top 4 just, but I'm nervous about this season. I don't think it's going to be a good one at all. I think we will just make top 4, and that is the extent of it.
And as much as you said about Mane, and I agree to that extent, Sterling and Jesus leaving City is a big problem for me as well. You're talking about 30 goals.
Guaranteed goals
and assists.
And they've got a little issue like Liverpool do, because Haaland and Alvarez may score loads, but they might not. And therefore it's an issue. But I just think that the Man City relentless juggernaut machine that is Pep Guardiola, that is Sheikh Mansour, that is Manchester City in this modern era, I just can't see anything stopping it. And maybe, Addy, in a way, I kind of want you to be right, because I'm saying that the Liverpool model is unsustainable. But Liverpool's model is romantic. And the Man City one, all I'm really doing here is saying money trumps brilliance. Yeah. But that's how I see it, to be honest.
Maybe you're true. Maybe this is probably my Liverpool hat, so Liverpool win the league. Obviously, I'm going to say that because we finished a point behind them. And I do genuinely believe they've gone a bit weaker in letting Sterling and Jesus go, just as I think we've gone weaker letting Mane go. We'll see, because
do you think Haaland hits? How do you think you finish above them?
He has to.
But how do you think you finish above them?
What's
wrong with them? How do you see
goals.
them?
I don't think they're scoring enough goals.
Okay.
But we'll see. Look, Haaland could get 30. But I know, when I think of Liverpool scoring goals, I know Salah. I know. This is the thing. I think Haaland will get 30. I know Salah will get 30.
Yeah,
I just know he will. And then it's the other pieces around them. So we'll see.
So
but how dare you say Spurs will finish above us?
As you can see, they've been up for a while now on screen. So thank you for having a look at our league tables. And thank you for watching this video. Do me one favour before you go. Subscribe to my friend Addy Oladipo. His link is in the description below. I hope you've enjoyed this. Do us one favour as well. In the comments below, your league tables. Can't wait to see them. We will both be in there having a look. Till next time.